Hey friends, welcome back to Mel's Stampin' Gallery, where I turn everyday memories into something beautiful to last a lifetime. As you can see here on my desk, I have pulled out these papers for today's layout because I thought my photos from Taughannock Falls in upstate New York went perfectly with them. These papers are actually part of the Exploring Nature workshop from Stampin' Up, and I thought the colors and textures couldn't be more perfect. They really do echo the feel of the falls and the surrounding landscape. So today I am starting right here with this beautiful spread of papers and the Stampin' Up workshop, and I'm going to turn it all into a double page layout that really tells the story of this amazing place. I have brought in my base pages of 12 by 12 willow white cardstock. And today I am going to follow the directions for layout number 2. And here I am bringing in the photos from this gorgeous place. As with anything, the photos really don't do it justice. I remember walking over to the overlook and just being in awe of the majestic falls in front of us. It had rained quite a bit before we had arrived, so the falls were just flowing magnificently. Next, I am going to bring in the Designer Series paper to see which papers go along with my photos. The paper at the bottom is the paper that is suggested in the instruction sheet. I just absolutely love this paper with the different blues and greens and the pretty peacock. I really thought it went well with the photos. But when I placed my photos on top of it, I thought, yes, the colors all do match, but I thought it was maybe a little bit too busy. So I rotated the paper to see if that would help at all. And it's funny because now that I'm doing the voiceover and I'm looking at it from this angle and vantage point, I think that really would have worked. It would have been fine. But let's bring in the other pattern paper that the workshop suggested to use. And this paper is kind of that ledger print with a distressed cloud cover. And I really thought that that was the correct paper to use. So I decided to go with that. Now, when you are cutting your paper for the opposite side, you want to be sure you are placing your paper in the correct orientation, as I'm showing you there in the instruction sheet. As you can see here, I did not. Oops, but good thing there was another piece of paper so I could put it in my trimmer the correct way and trim my other needed sheet of Designer Series paper. This crumb cake plaid is going to go under that cloud cover piece, and we will put a little strip of the crumb cake grid paper on the bottom. The instructions also call then for this distressed piece of vintage looking script paper to place behind the photos. And because it does have a direction, I want to make sure that I am placing it in my trimmer the proper way. So I was just showing you there on the instruction sheet that it does tell you which way to place your paper in the trimmer. Let's double check to make sure I have it correctly. And we will make that first cut, which I think was maybe 5 inches or more. I don't really, I can't see from here, but I think it must have been about 5¼ inches or so. Then we rotate it to cut off the other little piece of patterned paper, and that way it will all be going in the same direction. And you will see then that that long piece goes under the photos on the left hand side, and that little strip, and I'll show you in a minute, will be going under the strip on the right hand side of the paper so that it looks like one long continuous piece of patterned paper. Let's move that out of the way and use that for a different project. But as you see here, we are going to slip that in underneath that leisure sheet of cloud cover. Now the instructions don't call for this, but it's just something that I like to do, to go ahead and ink all the edges of my cardstock. So that is what I have done. So you might have noticed I did a little bit of a treatment or die cutting to the top of the layout. This is my own little spin on the layout. I thought that it would be fun to build a scene at the top. And here I can bring in that designer series paper that I really wanted to use. I'm using the dies from the Light and Wonder die set, which I believe is still available. It might even be on the last chance list. I will definitely have that linked for you down below. But I took the different pieces from the die. It has one large one that cuts the big trees out, and then it has the smaller die that you can use for trees in the foreground, and I cut those out of the darkest part of that designer series paper. Another one of the dies is this mountain shape die, and I cut that out of crumb cake cardstock. And I did have to do a little bit of piecing together to make that fit across the page. Once I got that in the place where I wanted it, I'm again bringing in my my sponge top dauber, and I'm going to ink up. Now I'm showing you that crumb cake, but I'm pretty sure I used pecan pie on the crumb cake paper to get the dark shadowing effect. Now I'm showing you here, I was very strategic in placing that waterfall photo underneath where I was hoping it looked like the waterfall coming through the rocks as it does in the photo. My hope was that it looked like the waterfall was continuing right down onto that photo. And I guess I did it okay, because my friend Mary, who was sitting across from me at my retreat, said, "Oh, look, you placed the photo underneath the waterfall. That's perfect." So now I'm bringing in the title. I really love that scripty font, the combination of the scripty font with the printed title. I decided to place the title at the top of my photos rather than where they had it in the instructions. And as you can see here, I'm showing you that I flipped the journaling and that photo around to fit my photos a little better. This banner piece is cut from one of the coordinating pattern papers. It is actually one of the punch-out sheets that you get in the scrapbook workshops. So I just placed that as it was shown in the instruction sheet on my scrapbook layout. And then I will take the two photos. Actually, that's a 3x4 photo. They're both 3x4s. And a couple of selfies. My husband was being very funny, and he grabbed my camera and he decided to take a selfie of himself, which, if you knew him, that's pretty funny, because he hates it every time I want to get selfies of the two of us together. This journaling card, to me, it looks like I tore the edge of it because I wanted it to look more like you had just ripped it out of a notebook. So I'm just tearing that down the edge there, and I was showing you how I did go ahead and ink that up, or dirty it up a little bit, with my ink and my foam top sponge dauber there. I'm just going to ink that up too, again with the coordinating pecan pie color. And once I adhere that to the page and I get all done, I need to go back and look it up, but I'm pretty sure these falls, it said the drop was one of the largest drops in the continental United States east of the Mississippi. I'm really not sure. I have to go look that up, but I know that was quite a big waterfall for sure. So that's something I want to definitely add to my journaling. And then it's just another little journaling card that we can add a little bit more details. Now these are punch out sheets. I'm going to use a combination of the punch out sheets, die cuts, and stickers to build my embellishment clusters. For the most part, I am following the provided instructions and the recommendations for the clusters pretty much as is. I did make a few little additions, like I said, to the title. I moved that to the top, and I pulled off some of these stickers to beef up the title at the top. You see a little bit of a compass rose and the geotag that I've placed up there at the top. And I am going to finish off each of my clusters with some of the gems that I had in my stash. These gems were in the coordinating colors, which is the peacock, pretty in peacock color, and then they had like a gold little sparkly veining in them that I thought really kind of echoed or mirrored the shiny splatter that you get from the waterfalls. And I am going to add some more of those glistening gems down in this cluster in the lower right. I do like to put my gems, when I use embellishments like this, in groups of 3 within the 3 different clusters. Now I decided that that lower left cluster needed just a little bit more something something down there. Well, actually, I phoned a friend and she suggested bringing some of those trees down there to that lower left cluster. And of course, she was absolutely right. So I took these pine trees from the paper die cuts in the scrapbooking workshop, put a little foam tape on the bottom and a little glue where it's going to overlap that circle piece, and added that to the bottom. And of course, that was just the perfect touch, just what it needed. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and be sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload a crafty video. And for more crafty inspiration, be sure to check out this video on screen that YouTube thinks you'll like. Click on that now, and I'll see you over there. Bye. Thanks for joining me.